described are called a gun-free zone. And so when I think of my kids who, one is of the age to be finished with college, my 17-year-old has finished high school early and is in college right now, and then of course I hope as any other parent that my 14-year-old will go to college. I share a similar concern, but I think I share it or I have it for the opposite reason, and that is when I see these mass killings, typically they happen in a gun-free zone, for example, a college or something like that. And so I'm just not real sure how greater or more restrictive gun laws are going to help those kinds of situations. But I guess specifically what I wanted to just kind of ask you about is whether or not your observation, number one, is similar to mine, and that is that it certainly appears as though most, if not all, of these mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. And I wondered if
well, I'm not speaking solely about mass shootings. I did mention the 7 shootings that have happened in 11 days, but this is really a daily epidemic, especially in Missouri, of gun violence. So whether it's a gun-free zone or a zone that allows guns, I feel there are just too many guns out there. There is no proof that more guns make our communities safer, and I think the thinking behind personally arming people and allowing people to conceal and carry, those people are not trained to react in real dangerous situations. They don't have police training. People's minds don't work the way they think they're going to work when there's a real crisis. And I just really don't feel that people walking around with fully loaded weapons is going to make our state any safer.
I would mention to you as well as anybody else in the audience, I do think it's interesting that probably most people would think on first sniff that this bill has been driven or at least endorsed by the NRA, and I've noticed a lack of any interest in this bill on the part of the NRA. The NRA had nothing to do with writing this bill. The NRA has not spoken in favor of this bill. In fact, the NRA has been, at best, lukewarm about this bill. And so for any of the folks that might ordinarily think that something like this comes from or is driven by the NRA, I will tell you this particular bill is not. If I had to guess, I would almost guess that the NRA does not like this bill. But it sounded like we had a little bit of an endorsement for the NRA on my left there. But anyway, I wanted to mention that just to clear it up so that those who tend to be on the right of this issue would know where the NRA stands, and so that those who tend to be on the left of this issue would know where the NRA stands. Those of you that might be to the left of this issue would be happy with the fact that the NRA doesn't take a particular liking to this bill. And those of you that might be to the right of this issue may not like it that the NRA is not engaged in this bill. But nonetheless, this is not an NRA-driven or even supported bill. This is a homegrown effort from right here in Missouri. And I don't think that probably gives you any comfort, but...
Actually, I was aware of that when the bill came up last time, the NRA's stance on it. And to me, this is, even though I mentioned the gun lobby, this is not a question of where the bill is coming from. It's a question about the bill.
Questions? Senator Shaw.